I caught our security guard sneaking out with a box of confiscated whiskey. That's when I realized this wasn't a mistake, it was a whole damn business. I caught our security guard slipping out the back with a box of confiscated whiskey. That moment changed everything. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a one-off. It was a business hiding in plain sight. I work nights at a giant supermarket in Chicago. Most days it's boring, customers fighting over oat milk, pallets collapsing like Jenga, managers stressing about shrink. My corner is back of house loading dock, returns cage, overstock. If drama happens, I usually miss it. Not that night. Rob, our night guard, is mid-40s, ex-cop energy, jaw like granite. He knows which cameras work, who takes long smoke breaks, and how to sound friendly without ever actually being your friend. He's the guy you don't mess with. Near the dock we keep a metal cage, loss prevention hole. That's where confiscated items go: whiskey, razors, AirPods, you name it. Everything's supposed to be logged and sealed. Supposed to. I was breaking down boxes when I heard Rob's keys. He slid the cage open, grabbed a case of top-shelf whiskey, tucked it into a plain shipper box, taped it shut. No paperwork, no initials, just one quick look at me, like, you didn't see this. He carried it to the steel door, the one leading to the alley. That door is not for him. I drifted behind, casual, box cutter still in my hand. Through the wired glass, I saw an SUV idling by the dumpster. Rob loaded the trunk, got an envelope from the driver, slipped it in his jacket. No counting, no hesitation. I backed off, heart hammering, pretend normal, tape boxes, scan pallets. When he came back around, his voice was calm. Everything good back here? All good, I said. He smiled, but it felt like a test. Later, Jasmine from Produce whispered she saw Rob moving donations. Donations get logged. They don't involve envelopes. I lied, told her it was probably a transfer. She shrugged, but I could tell she didn't buy it. Break room, smell of instant noodles and burnt coffee. Miguel from Night Crew dropped down across from me. You look like you saw a ghost, he joked. I said I was fine. He leaned closer. If you ever need extra cash, Rob's got side work. My stomach flipped. What kind of work? Moving stuff. Easy money. Don't ask too many questions. He said it like he was offering me a ride, like this was normal. I nodded just to stay safe. He grinned, said he'd send me a number. He didn't, not yet. Another test. By the end of shift, I was exhausted but wired. Rob walked the store with that calm authority, like he owned the shadows. At the clock-out line he clapped my shoulder. Good work tonight. Keep an eye on those returns. People get sloppy. I forced a smile. I'll keep an eye. And I knew damn well, the thing I needed to watch was him. Now imagine what happens next. But before that, smash that like button and hit subscribe. Cause the craziest part is just getting started. The next few nights felt like working with the spotlight aimed at my forehead. Every time Rob walked past me, I expected him to pull me aside, ask me what I'd seen. Instead, he was casual, almost too casual. A pat on the back here, a smirk there, like we were in on the same joke, only I hadn't laughed yet. On Tuesday, I caught Miguel hauling a sealed box from the loss prevention cage. Not Rob this time, Miguel, a guy barely 21 who usually spends half the shift making TikToks while pretending to zone pallets. He wasn't sneaky either. He just pulled the box, slapped on a vendor return sticker, and pushed it onto a dolly like he'd done it 100 times. I froze. What's that? I asked. He winked. Donation run. Don't sweat it. The word donation hit me like static. That was the same line Jasmine had whispered. Donation, my ass. I wanted to call him out, but my throat locked up. Instead I joked, you guys ever donate to employees? My fridge could use some whiskey. Miguel laughed like I'd just passed another test. Stick around, man. Rob takes care of his people. That line, takes care of his people, sounded too much like a gang motto. Later, when Jasmine and I were restocking, she leaned close and muttered, have you noticed? Stuff disappears way faster than it used to. Yeah, I said, careful. Maybe bad tracking. She shook her head. Come on. I saw Rob with that whiskey. Now Miguel's pulling boxes. Feels dirty. I hesitated. What would you do? She gave me a sharp look. Depends if I like my job. Depends if I like my kneecaps. She said it with a laugh, but her eyes didn't laugh at all. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept seeing Rob pocketing that envelope, Miguel pushing that dolly, Jasmine's warning eyes. The scheme wasn't just Rob flipping a bottle here or there. This was organized. Rob was the hub, and workers like Miguel were his spokes. Hell, maybe even management knew. On Thursday, I tested the waters. So, I said to Rob near the cage, those donation runs. Legit. He didn't even flinch, just looked at me like I'd ask what day it was. Of course, community programs. Store's been doing it for years. Funny, I said. Never seen the paperwork. That's when his smile turned sharp. You're new. You'll learn. Don't dig where you don't need to. Trust me. The way he said trust me wasn't advice. It was an order wrapped in sugar. I nodded, pretending to be reassured, but my gut screamed. 2 nights later, the scheme escalated. I walked past the cage and saw not 1 box but 3 stacked by the door. Whiskey, razors, a case of Beats headphones. Miguel and another kid, Andre, were strapping them to a dolly while Rob leaned against the wall, hands in pockets, like a king watching his workers. Andre noticed me and froze. Rob waved it off. He's good. He knows, do I? I thought, because I sure as hell didn't want to know. That moment cemented it. I was now inside the circle whether I liked it or not. When I clocked out, Rob stopped me at the door. Listen, you work hard. Guys like you don't go unnoticed. If you ever need cash, side work, whatever you talk to me, don't waste yourself on scraps. We're family here, family. That word landed heavy. Families protect each other, or bury each other. As I walked to my car, snow flurry spinning under the streetlight, I realized the fork I was standing at. One road, keep my head down, take the extra money, become part of the machine. The other, say something, blow the whistle, risk my job, maybe more. And the worst part, I wasn't sure which road was safer. By the time Friday rolled around, I couldn't look at the loss prevention cage without feeling my stomach twist. Every shift it seemed emptier, lighter, not because theft went down, hell no, because it was leaking. Rob had a rhythm now. Certain nights, certain times, the cage would open, boxes would roll out, and SUVs would appear like clockwork. Miguel was in deeper. Andre too. Even a cashier named Kelly Sweet, Shy Kelly who bakes cupcakes for birthdays, was suddenly pushing sealed returns through the dock. That's when it hit me, this wasn't a side hustle. This was a whole underground supply chain. Rob wasn't just selling stolen booze. He was running an operation with tentacles through half the staff. And me, I was standing on the edge, pretending I wasn't already in. That night Rob caught me alone near the dumpster. Snow was crunching under my boots. He lit a cigarette, smoke curling into the cold. You've been quiet, he said. Just working, I muttered. He eyed me, then smirked. Working's good, but don't think you're invisible. I see how you look at things. You've got a brain. Brains are useful unless they get too curious. I swallowed hard. I'm not curious. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Good. Curiosity kills paychecks, and sometimes more. The words hung heavy in the air. He flicked his cigarette, sparks scattering in the snow, and walked away like nothing had been said. My knees felt weak. Later, in the break room, Miguel slid into the chair across from me. Rob likes you, he said. Is that supposed to make me feel better? He laughed. Means you're trusted. Means you've got options. Man, don't screw it up. Some of us would kill to be in your spot. Options? Right. Option 1, join the scheme, make easy money, shut up. Option 2, blow the whistle and maybe end up jobless. Or worse. The tension kept building. Jasmine noticed too. She cornered me by the apples. You've seen it, haven't you? She whispered. I froze. Seen what? She rolled her eyes. Don't play dumb. Half the store isn't on this. Rob's bleeding this place dry. You're either with them or against them. Which are you? I asked. She bit her lip, glanced around. I'm surviving. Don't you get it? If you make noise, you'll vanish faster than that whiskey. Just don't be stupid. That warning stuck with me all shift. By closing time, Rob was back at the time clock, leaning on the wall like a gatekeeper. As I swiped out, he leaned close. You're good at keeping your mouth shut, he said softly. Keep it that way, and you'll go far. Otherwise, he didn't finish. He didn't need to. Walking to my car that night, I realized something chilling. I wasn't deciding whether to get involved. I already was. The only question now was how deep. I used to think the scariest part of my job was a pallet collapsing on my foot or some drunk screaming in aisle 7. Turns out, nothing compares to having your own security guard corner you in the loading dock at midnight with that half smile that doesn't reach his eyes. It happened on a Monday, one of those bitter Chicago nights where the wind knifes through your jacket. I was stacking returned merchandise, microwaves, cheap toasters, a busted karaoke machine when Rob stepped into the dock like he owned it. He didn't say hello. He just closed the steel door behind him with a loud, final clang. You've been around long enough now, he said. I froze, holding the barcode scanner like it was a weapon. Around long enough for what? His eyes scanned me, slow, deliberate. To know how things work. I'm just here to work my shift, I muttered. Rob chuckled. That's what I like about you. You keep your head down. But here's the thing, keeping your head down only works if you're on the right side. He leaned closer, the smell of smoke and cologne heavy in the air. And right now, you're standing in the middle. Middle's dangerous. Tom. He called me Tom. Hardly anyone calls me Tom. My tag says Thomas. Him using Tom felt personal, like a hook digging under my skin. I don't want trouble, I said. That's smart. Trouble doesn't pay. Loyalty does. He pulled out an envelope thick with cash, flicked it with his thumb so the bills fanned out like green feathers. One run. That's all. You take a box from point A to point B. Nobody asks questions. You make more in one night than you do in a week busting your ass for corporate. The scanner in my hand felt suddenly useless. And if I say no? Rob's smile thinned. Then you keep clocking in, keep struggling, keep being invisible. But invisible people, they slip. They get blamed for mistakes. They get written up. Cameras catch them when it matters. You get me? My throat went dry. This wasn't an offer. This was a line drawn in bold permanent marker. I didn't answer. I just nodded like I'd think about it. He clapped my shoulder hard enough to sting. Good man. Think quick. Because offers don't stay on the table forever. Then he left me with the smell of exhaust and fear. The rest of the week felt like I was walking on broken glass. Every glance from Rob felt like surveillance. Miguel kept nudging me in the ribs, saying, man, just do it. One run. Easy cash. You'll laugh later that you hesitated. But it didn't feel funny. It felt like quicksand. Jasmine noticed. She always notices. She caught me in frozen foods, between stacks of pizzas. You're pale, she whispered. What happened? Rob wants me in, I muttered. Her face hardened. Then you've got two choices. Say yes, or start looking for a new job. You think it's that simple? She shook her head. No, I think it's that dangerous. That night, I sat in my car for 20 minutes before starting it, staring at my breath fogging the windshield. My phone buzzed a text from a blocked number. Runs at 2 a.m. tomorrow. Don't be late. My chest tightened. I hadn't agreed. I hadn't said a word, but somehow, I was already scheduled. I didn't sleep. At 1:50, I found myself back at the store, hands sweating inside my gloves. Rob was there, leaning against the dock wall, a plain brown box at his feet. You showed, he said. I didn't agree, he smirked. You're here, aren't you? The box was heavy, tape tied. I didn't ask what was inside. Whiskey, headphones, razors, it didn't matter. I loaded it into my trunk while my stomach churned. Rob slipped me an envelope. I didn't look inside. I just shoved it into my pocket, drove off into the night, and delivered the box to an address scribbled on a sticky note. A random garage on the south side. A guy I'd never seen waved me in, unloaded, and sent me away with a nod. By the time I got home, the envelope sat on my kitchen table like a live grenade. I finally opened it. $800. Cash. More than my paycheck for 2 weeks. And here's the messed up part, it felt good. Wrong, but good. My rent was late. My car needed brakes. $800 meant breathing room. But staring at those bills, I realized something darker. I had crossed the line. I wasn't watching anymore. I was in. And once you're in, there's no way out without blood. The envelope of cash sat on my dresser for 3 days before I touched it again. Every time I walked past, it felt like it hummed louder than my alarm clock, louder than my neighbor's dog. $800. A week ago, I'd have killed for that kind of breathing room. Now it felt like an anchor tied to my neck. Rob checked in on me, casual as ever. How was the run? He asked one night, while we stacked pallets of detergent. His tone was light, but his eyes were sharp. Fine, I muttered. He nodded. Easy, right? Safer than half the stupid crap people do for money. He clapped me on the shoulder. Next time will be smoother. You'll see. Next time. The word stabbed me. There wasn't supposed to be a next time. That night, I sat in the break room, staring at my phone. Jasmine slid into the seat across from me, her eyes darting to make sure nobody was close. You did it, didn't you? She whispered. I didn't answer. My silence was enough. She cursed under her breath. Jesus, Tom, you're in now. You think you can just stop? That's not how this works. I don't want in. Doesn't matter. You're marked. Rob's got you. He doesn't let people walk away. If you try, let's just say you don't want to find out. Her words made my skin crawl. For the first time, the thought hit me, what if I went above Rob's head? Corporate, police, anyone. But that idea was poison too. If Rob even smelled betrayal, he'd crush me before anyone else could lift a finger. Still, the thought wouldn't go away. The following week, the cage emptied again. This time, 5 boxes stacked by the door. Whiskey, electronics, even a box of vape cartridges. Miguel and Andre joked as they strapped them down. Rob supervised like a general. I snapped a photo on my phone when no one was looking. My hands shook so bad the picture came out blurry. But it was evidence. My heart raced half from fear, half from adrenaline. That night, in my car, I googled whistleblower hotline corporate theft. I hovered over the number, thumb trembling. But then my phone buzzed with the text, "You're up tomorrow. Midnight. Don't be late." It wasn't a question. It wasn't an offer. It was an order. I drove home, rage boiling under the fear. My life wasn't mine anymore, it was Rob's. And that's when I realized, if I didn't stop him, no one would. So I made a decision. A dangerous, stupid decision. I was going to set a trap. Step 1, play dumb. I acted normal around Rob, nodded at Miguel's jokes, pretended not to notice Andre pocketing gift cards. Meanwhile, I borrowed an old GoPro from my cousin, tucked it inside an empty cereal box, and placed it on a shelf in the dock where it had a clean view of the cage. Step to survive until payday. Every shift felt like Russian roulette. I smiled, I lifted boxes, I lied through my teeth. Rob seemed satisfied, but Jasmine noticed my tension. "What are you planning?" she whispered one night. "Nothing," I said. "Too quick." She narrowed her eyes. "Tom, if you're thinking of crossing him, don't. People disappear when they do. I'm just tired," I lied. But she knew. I think she always knew. The trap sprung on a Thursday. Rob unlocked the cage, pulled 2 boxes of whiskey, and nodded at Miguel. I kept stacking pallets like nothing was happening, but inside I was shaking. The GoPro's little red light blinked inside the cereal box, hidden. The SUV rolled up. Same guy, same routine. Box in, envelope out. Only this time, it was all recorded. When my shift ended, I took the GoPro home like it was radioactive. I watched the footage at 3 a.m. in my apartment, hands sweating. Grainy, shaky, but clear enough. Rob stealing company property. Cash changing hands. It was gold. Or maybe it was a death sentence. Because now I had evidence. And if Rob found out, I was done. I barely slept, heart pounding like I'd swallowed a drum. Tomorrow I'd decide, send it to corporate, or the cops, or bury it forever. And I didn't know which choice scared me more. The GoPro footage sat on my laptop like a ticking bomb. Every time I replayed it, my heart slammed harder. Rob's hand on the whiskey, the SUV, the envelope. It was proof. Solid, undeniable proof. But proof is only useful if you live long enough to hand it over. For 2 days, I carried the flash drive in my pocket everywhere at work, at home, even in the shower. Like Rob could burst through the curtain any second. Sleep, forget it. Every sound outside my apartment had me peeking through the blinds. By Thursday, I was cracking. Jasmine cornered me in the freezer aisle. "You've got something, don't you?" she hissed. I hesitated. My silence said enough. She grabbed my arm. "Then listen to me, don't go to corporate. Don't go to the cops. Rob's got people everywhere. You think managers don't know? You think half this crew isn't eating from his table? If you try to burn him, you'll burn too." Her eyes were wide, scared. For once, Jasmine wasn't sarcastic or tough. She was pleading. That night, I sat in my car with the flash drive in my hand. My thumb hovered over my phone screen. The whistleblower hotline already dialed. I imagined corporate security team storming in, Rob in cuffs, me walking out clean. But then I imagined Rob finding out before they came. Me disappearing into an alley, my face on a missing poster. The phone buzzed a text from a blocked number. "Run tonight. Midnight. Be there." I almost laughed. Midnight. Always midnight. Like the devil keeps office hours. This time, I made a choice. At 11:55, I pulled into the lot. Rob was waiting, the brown box at his feet. Miguel and Andre were joking nearby, voices too loud in the cold night air. Rob grinned when he saw me. "Knew you'd show. Knew you had it in you." My pulse hammered. I forced a smile, lifted the box, and carried it to my trunk. Inside, hidden under my spare tire, was the GoPro drive. Rob leaned in close as I shut the trunk. "You're family now, Tom. Family sticks together. That means no secrets." Right, I said. My voice cracked. The delivery was the same as before. Dark garage. Faceless man, nod of approval. But when I drove away, my mind was racing. I had proof. I had names. And I had a decision. I pulled over at a gas station, the kind that looks the same in every city. Fluorescent lights humming, smell of burnt coffee. I opened my laptop right there in the car, uploaded the video to a private cloud, set an auto send to a news outlet. Timer 24 hours. Unless I stopped it, if anything happened to me, the world would see Rob's empire. My hands shook as I closed the lid. For the first time, I felt a sliver of control. The next night, Rob walked up to me as I was clocking out. He looked calm to calm. Funny thing, he said softly. Cameras caught someone snooping around the dock. Someone planting something. Doesn't look good. My chest went cold. Rob leaned close, his breath warm against my ear. Family doesn't hide things. If you've got something you want to share, now's the time. His eyes drilled into mine. For a second, I thought he already knew. Maybe he did. Maybe he was testing me. I forced a laugh. If I knew anything, you'd be the first to know. He stared at me a long time. Then he smiled. Good man. Keep it that way. And just like that, he walked off. I drove home shaking so hard I almost ran a red light. In my apartment, I opened my laptop and stared at the timer. 19 hours left. 19 hours until the video went public. I could cancel it. I could delete everything, slip back into the shadows, keep my paycheck and my knees intact. Or I could let it run and blow this whole thing wide open. I sat there until the sun came up, the glow of the screen painting my face. And here's the truth. I still don't know what I'll do. Maybe by the time you hear this, Rob's empire is ashes and I'm a hero. Or maybe the upload's gone, the drive's in the trash, and I'm just another scared guy keeping his mouth shut. But either way, one thing's certain: once you cross the line, there's no way back.